Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. It's been a little bit, so welcome back. So the other day, or a couple weeks ago, I did a video about the last book of The Promised Neverland, and I mentioned that we still have the live action movie to see, and I still had hopes for it to be good, and I hadn't seen it yet. Well, the other day, I watched it, and it wasn't too bad. I was surprised in a way because I heard a review from the Anime Man and he ranked it very low. He said it was not a good adaptation. So I was really nervous. I watched it. It honestly took me a couple days to watch, and it was in all Japanese, so I was relying on closed captioning that I'm not 100% sure if it was all correct, but it was close enough because it seemed to be following what the anime did. So I was able to follow it without the closed captioning a lot because I understood what was supposed to be happening and what was happening. They of course made some minor changes. I think that's something they're required to do so that it's not exactly taking the full license of the original anime or manga. Could be wrong, I don't know. It was not significant changes, but it was enough that you noticed it. An example would be instead of mom, they call Isabella Mama, which drove me nuts because it just felt weird. And the kids are 16, 15, getting ready to turn 16, and that's when they get shipped out instead of 12. So they aged up the kids a little bit, and they called mom Mama, and there was a couple of other minor tweaks. Anime Man made a comment about their costuming, which I completely agree. It looked like someone was cosplaying for The Promised Neverland. It literally looked like that. The costumes, I mean, there's only so much you could do. I'm not trying to be too hard about it because there's only so much you can do for their costuming, because all the kids wear, sorry, you can hear my fan. All the kids wear just white shirts, pants, and white skirts. So there's not much they could do anyway, so I can't be too mad about it just because it's not their fault. They can only do so much if that's all they're given. So that's something I'm willing to look over, to overlook, I should say. Something that I didn't like, and it makes my white privilege show when I say this, so forgive me, but certain characters were not the correct race. I don't know why that feels weird for me as a person who is of Caucasian descent to get irritated about, but I do because that's not how it's supposed to be. I mean, I'm glad that they did not whitewash the anime because sometimes that happens too. And luckily with Promised Neverland, it's clear there's multiple races involved, so they could get away with that. And they did have multiple races for the children, but Sister Corona was not African American, she was Japanese. The woman that did the acting for her was very good. I did like her style and acting. However, it just was like a huge elephant in the room that's like, we know who you're supposed to be, but you're not really looking like her. So that was a minor thing that I feel like they should have went a different route, I guess. I don't know. To me, the minor differences that they made stuck out a bit to me, so it was hard for me to ignore those. So like the mama thing, it was kind of like watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action version of that, and they changed Aang's name to Ong. The little things like that drive me nuts. So that was just something that, personal issue. They followed the manga and the anime very well. It only goes up to the end of season 1. So they still, no matter what they did, they still did better than the anime version of season 2. No matter what they did, they could have changed Emma's name, and I would still say that season 1 was represented very well to this adaptation, and no matter what they did, it's still better than season 2. And that's sad. But it's also good because they had no excuses. They had to do this right because there was no reason not to do all the things that they could do. The CGI was a little much for me. The demons were there. They were big. They towered over people, which was like that in the manga and the anime. I did enjoy that they did seem intimidating. However, it was a little too obvious they were computer generated. But that is also something that you will always, with a few exceptions, get from live action versions of animes, especially if they're made in Japan. There's some really good animes that have been turned into live action. There's some really bad ones. And the issue that they normally run into is CGI work. That's when it all falls apart. So it's not the worst CGI I've seen. Probably the worst CGI I've seen is like Attack on Titan, the live action, just because those styles, they kept switching styles in the first. So that was something that stuck out, and it distracted you from the entire storyline. And that's another story. That live action part 1 and 2 of Attack on Titan is totally another story. So it was good. They did jump around in a couple of things that I wish they would have taken more time for. But they followed it very closely. I'm not sure. I haven't heard. I don't know if they're going to be doing a... sorry, I keep blinking. There's something in my eye. I don't know if they're going to be doing a season 2 for that. And I don't know if they're going to be doing where they did for the Death Note live actions, which was they had the voice actors come in and dub over top of the Japanese artists and actors. I don't know if they're going to do that. I think it'd be smart to do that. I think it'd be a money grab. I mean, they're dumb if they don't, because you know people are going to see it. So why not? They didn't do that with Attack on Titan, so I don't know if they'll do it this. This is more of a smaller project, not as popular, I guess. But it's things like that I like to see. And like I said, the last book made mentions of there's more things to come, Promise Neverland. So I'm hopeful that there's actually more that's coming and it's not going to be disappointing. But I finally did see the live action. I will say I only found it on YouTube, so I wasn't sure where to find it anywhere as far as, like, I'm sure I could have looked harder and found it on a streaming site of some sort. I doubt Funimation has it. I doubt Crunchyroll has it, but I'm sure it's out there and you can get it. So I did use the YouTube channel to watch it, and I don't know who did the closed captioning, but like I said, it was close enough that if you're a fan of the anime and the manga, you know what's happening and you can interpret what they're trying to say without any problems. It's kind of like going to see a Broadway musical, but you're sitting in the far back. You're in like the last row and you can barely see anything on the stage, but you know the story well enough that you know who's talking, you know what's going on, so it's not that big a deal. So that's what it was kind of like. I liked it. Considering everything that I just mentioned, it wasn't bad. It could have been a whole lot worse. Honestly, when the Anime Man did his review of it, and I didn't watch a full review on it, he was just ranking like live action animes, and that's what motivated me to like, oh, it is out, and I should try to see it. So that's when I looked it up, but he was making it sound like it was horrible. I would argue that season 2 was worse than this. So if you are a fan of season 1, this is something that you'll like. If you like Promise Neverland at all, you'll be okay with it. The costuming is a little goofy, but like I said earlier, they were working with what they had, and you can only do so much. I mean, you have people who have hair colors that are clearly not supposed to be their hair colors, are not naturally redheads, or they're not naturally have silver white hair. So those were minor things. The lady that plays Mom, or their version of Mama, she was good. She was very intimidating. She was very, she had this edge to her. Like, she was very caring, but then she could manipulate that. So you were able to see that, like, she was nice to the kids, but in one area of the house, but then she's mad at Emma, Norma, and Ray. So, like, her nice smile to the kids, and she just looks up, and you can see, like, her total demeanor changes just towards them, but no one picks up on it. So she was very good choice for Mom. Like I said, Sister Corona, there was a big elephant in the room about that part of it. However, she did really well. The environment was pretty. I mean, they're surrounded by woods all the time, so that's pretty cool. I mean, I can't really say, just because I'm not a good actress and I wasn't part of it, so I don't feel like I have much power to say. Some of the main characters' acting was a little stale to me, or it was a little forced, and I was just like, ugh. But like I've said, that sometimes is the thing that you run into with live actions from Japan. That's not a priority of theirs, so it's kind of like, also you'll see like live action dubbed, or even anime that they dub, or not dubbed, they just use Japanese language with the anime, and their lip flap movements do not match what the character is saying. And that's just not a priority that they have. It's never really been their priority. In America, we're more strict on that. So we're more strict. We're used to seeing lip flap movements being very close, if not perfect. If it's not perfect, you can notice it right away. We're very, very big on that. Japan, they're not as much. So I think it was more of an American's outlook of that. Just sometimes their emotions didn't seem to match what was happening, and I think that was one of my big things I noticed, other than the minor things like the CGI and things, was they're good, but they're also children with, I don't know how much acting experience. I don't know these actors, but it was just something that was a critique of mine. It was nice to see it. I'm glad I saw it. Felt a little guilty watching it on YouTube. But time to move on. I've seen it, so I can say that I've basically seen anything and everything from Neverland that's out there. And I'm looking forward to End of Attack on Titan. I'm a little nervous, and I'm ready to make that video as soon as I read the book, so be prepared. It's coming out October 19th. I did check. So after October 19th is probably when you'll be getting an episode or a video about my thoughts on the End of Attack on Titan, the manga. And then I have a feeling after that comes out, maybe in November, December, we'll probably have the anime pick back up again. Not sure, because they're in a break right now. If they were to pick up right now, they would basically run back into the situation of the manga's not out, so we can't move as fast a pace. So I'm not sure if their plans are to do what they did in earlier seasons, which was the anime airs in Japan, and then like the next day or so we get to see it. I don't know what their plans are. I know last part of this first half of the season, they were mostly all recording from home, so I don't know if they're still doing that. They're doing a lot of that recording in all of Funimation studios, so not sure. But that'll be coming soon, so that's going to be something I'm sure I'll have an opinion on. The last manga for Attack on Titan was so intense. So intense. Like, it was stressing me out. It was so intense. And for some reason I have so much empathy for people and characters, even when they're fake, that I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm looking forward to it. It's not too far away, but I'm also gonna be sad when it comes out because that means it's the end. I need more things to watch and read, guys. You need to tell me what to do. I've replayed The Last of Us Part 2. Definitely better experience the second time. I've even considered starting it back up again for a third time. So that might be something I talk about one day. I just don't know if it's old and dried out and no one wants to talk about it anymore. So it's only been a year, but I still missed the hype. So we'll see what I can think of. And then I'm going to be replaying Resident Evil Village again soon. I'm past the hype on that too, but I kind of want to talk about it just because I enjoyed that too. So this is mostly just saying I'm still here, I'm still around. I watched an anime adaptation, a live version of it, and I said I'd talk about it, so here I am. It's just taking me this long to be able to get around to push the record button and have some privacy to do it without being interrupted a million times. So I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope to see you soon. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the live adaptation, if you saw it, and let me know something good to watch or read. I am reading The Ways of the House Husband, so that is something I am reading, but I want more suggestions. So I hope you guys have a great day. Know that you're loved and appreciated, and I hope you have a good one. Bye. Stay safe.